Hi guys, James from the Football Manager WizKids, and welcome to a brand new YouTube series that I've got coming to you and to the Football Manager community. Now I'm calling this experiment, or this series, Scouting for Diamonds, and I'm going to go to each country for as long as I can, looking for 10 youngsters aged 21 and under that I recommend from that country that you must sign on FM15. Now the first country we're going to go to is my country of birth, which is Scotland. So I'm going to give you 10 youngsters in Scotland, aged under 21, that you should sign on Football Manager. Now these players are in no particular order, just 10 players from the country aged 21 and under. But first we're going to John McGinn, who's recently left St Mirren. The reason he left St Mirren is because he got into an accident with a teammate, Stephen Thompson, at St Mirren, and apparently he's suing him and the club. So that's the reason he's left. But what a steal he is to get for a freebie on Football Manager on our database, of course, at the moment. Look at some of those attributes. For the age of 19, I'm sure he quickly gets into the Scotland team and he gets a quick move if you're playing with the standard database for Football Manager from January. So some of his attributes to look at are the dribbling of 12, determination of 15, strength 14, vision 14, his technique 13, passing 12. The age of 19, that is not too bad. He's got good aggression on him, 14, which means he's not going to bottle out of a challenge. His mental stats are his best on his attributes. Physicals are okay, technicals are okay. But for an age 19 player, he looks not too bad at the moment. John McGinn is a fairly determined personality, which is good. He can play in a variable of roles. The roaming playmaker, which is a favourite of mine on Football Manager. The ball-winning midfielder, advanced playmaker. He's strong on the left foot, he's reasonable on the right foot. And both his brothers, Paul McGinn, Stephen McGinn, both play in Scotland at Dundee. But this guy, this player for me, you should be signing him for either playing in Scotland or a championship level team. Progress him, develop him, even make a profit if you wish, but he is very good for the age of 19, and in particular in Scotland, if you ever started at St Mirren, he is your best player and he's really good for that standard. Next we head to Dundee for the 16-year-old, highly thought of Craig Whiting, approached apparently by a few clubs, but he's just actually been released to go on loan to Raith Rovers for 6 months, hopefully develop his future in real life. So he's only 16, he starts off with 11 finishing, first touch of 13, passing of 12, technique of 13. Got some very good mental stats and physical stats. Now, the good thing about him is he can pick a pass, apparently. But remember, he's 16, so use him sparingly. Give him some games from sub bench. Maybe loan him out, but I prefer to keep the youngsters, blood them myself, instead of loan them out and actually use them. Get him tutored by a player. Get him playing in whichever position you feel comfortable with. It depends on your formation. I mean, if you've got a one-striker formation and he's apparently a striker, is he going to get that much game time? Because you're going to have more than one. You're going to have 3 or 4 and he's not going to get a sniff. But if you're playing 2, he's going to get a bit of game time. But he can also play in behind the striker. The con about this guy is he can't play in big matches, really. He doesn't play well in them. He tends to be very quiet. But he can pick a pass out. Now, he is only 16. Now, I've seen him develop very well. On a former save of mine on Football Manager, about 8 seasons in, he was at Tottenham and valued at about £15 million. That's with the AI, so if he's human controlled, he could be excellent. Now, as you can see, he does play striker. He can play behind the striker. If you're desperate and need him, he can play wide. He's a fairly determined player, which, again, that's a very good thing to have. He can play the false 9, poacher, advanced forward. He's reasonable on his left foot, very strong on his right foot, so he can ping a ball with either. That's Craig Whiting of Dundee, age 16. He is also in our list. Next we have Charlie Telford, the former Rangers player, now at Dundee United. We're looking at his attributes, guys. For an 18-year-old, he is excellent. Possesses good stats in technical, mental, not so much the physical. The downside with this guy is he's a fairly selfish player, doesn't enjoy the big matches. Would that put you off? Potentially, yes, but if you're trying to build a squad of Scottish players or look into Scotland, try and steal a couple of cheap ones, he's got the attributes to go along. If you can get rid of that sort of selfishness, maybe in a big league or a bigger team, he would lose that. Maybe he thinks he's too good for Scotland, who knows. But he's valued at 300k, plays at Dundee United, he's Scotland under 21 cap on £1,000 per week. Now, that selfishness and unable to play big or play well in the big matches, that kind of put me off. But Ed Wilson from the Deep Line podcast, he did say that this guy was his best player after I questioned who was his best player, assuming it'd be Nadir Chifty, but he said it was Charlie Telfer, and I thought, okay, let's get him in. And the attributes don't lie. For Scotland, they are fantastic. That's Charlie Telfer of Dundee United, formerly of Rangers. Now, I've tried to make them all from different teams, but how could I leave out this guy? This guy that earns a massive move wherever he goes. Now, on my current save, 2 seasons in with Sporting Lisbon, John Souttar from Dundee United has made the move to Celtic, and he's valued at £4 million and a full Scottish international. Now, he's been a regular signing for people in Foot Manager on FM15 Plus because he develops fantastically well, and he did so on FM14 on an Everton save of mine. He comes very cheap, around £1 million, but they always want a loan back clause. But I'm sure if you offer a little bit more, you can get him without having that. Now, he is an ambitious player. He's fairly consistent, and I really can vouch for that in my Everton save. He was very consistent, and he was brilliant. Now, he's an ambitious player, which you like. His former teammates or former personnel, and his favourite personnel, Ryan Gauld, Andy Robertson, of course, Sporting Lisbon and Hull. Now, he's labelled in the next Richard Gough, which is, if you're Scottish, I guess it's quite a statement. He was a big name in Scotland. He can play ball playing, limited or central defender, and he's fairly strong and very strong on each foot. So that says a good thing about a young guy that can play with both feet. Now, it says he likes to play his way out of trouble, and that probably tells us why 14 is his passing stat and his composure is 13. So that is great and fantastic foundations, those attributes, if you want a young third, fourth choice central defender to tutor, to train, and to get up to first team level. But for me, this guy is fantastic, and I know a lot of people that have used him personally can back me up on this one. So next we go to Hearts and Callum Patterson. And now, in the early years of him, now he's only 19, but when he was like 17, I think, when he broke into the Hearts team, I'm pretty sure he played as a wide man, more advanced. But these days he plays as a right back. He's versatile. He can play left back, centre back, striker if you want, attacking midfield, right, wing back, and his natural position is defensive. And a limited fullback at that. Now, he is only valued at 150k from Hearts, and he has got 15 under 21 caps. Now look at his attributes. He's got good pace, good crossing, and surprisingly he's got some decent finishing of 11 for being a fullback. He's got good heading of 15, that surprises me also. His long throws are 19, so you want to look to exploit that in the set pieces. He's bravery 14, which tells me he doesn't back out of a tackle. He's got 15 strength, so for a fullback at that age he's got some very good attributes that you look to exploit. Now, he's good in the air, he's a fairly consistent performer, and he's got a determined attitude, and he would fit in well with a group of players in the Scottish national team. Now, he is weak on his left foot, very strong on his right foot, so ideally you'd want to keep him on the right, but anywhere down the right, whether it be right back, wing back, right midfield, attacking mid-right field, he looks like he could do a fantastic job. And he likes to run down the right, shoot with power, possesses long flat throws, which we've already said, look to exploit that. So that is another Scottish talent that you should look to be signing on the cheap, is Callum Patterson of Hearts. Next we head to Aberdeen, which is not too many miles away from me, and Lawrence Shankland, the 25 squad number of Aberdeen. Now, he's a backup squad, so it's the age of 18 in that squad, but that finishing of 15 for the age 18 in this league, for a young Scotsman, is deadly. 15 is fantastic. He's got 15 for long shots as well. It says he's a very selfish player in his report, but as a striker with 15 finishing, is that a bad thing? Not for me. Alan Shearer was selfish. That's why he scored so many goals for the club I love, Newcastle United. But this guy also possesses good technique. His natural fitness is pretty poor, which also says in his report his lack of work ethic could basically bring his teammates down. But if you get him tutored and trained, especially tutored by an experienced player, maybe that can get drawn out of him. Who knows? But he's got some decent stats all round. But I reckon if you work with him, don't leave him to the AI. I think you can improve him a whole lot more. And I've proven before, even with some very poor stats elsewhere, 15 finishing and 11 composure, that type of attributes can work, can get you goals regardless of other poor attributes. That's Lawrence Shankland of Aberdeen. Now we head to the big guns of Scotland. Number 47 of Celtic is Calvin Miller. Now this guy, he's beginning to make a big reputation for himself in real world football. Arguably the biggest talent since a certain Mr. Ryan Gauld left for Sporting Lisbon, but certainly the biggest talent still playing in Scotland is Calvin Miller. Now he is playing for the youth team of Scotland. Now look at his value, £38,000 on less than £600 per week. Hot prospect, 16 years old. But look at those attributes, guys. Some fantastic ones going on there. For 16 years old, 12 finishing, 12 composure, that mammoth 15 of pace, determination of 14. He is a flair player with 15, work rate 14. Exploit those. You need to get him. If you can get him cheap, get him. He plays a poacher advance forward for Celtic, and he doesn't adapt well, apparently, according to the assistant manager of the Scotland national team. He's very one-footed and poor in the air. Okay, it's not the worst thing he can have. There are far worse things. He's still got some great all-round stats. He's an ambitious individual, always looking to win things, so hopefully that can pull him and pull your team through games. He's got great speed. He can play in a couple of positions. As you can see, an actual striker can play behind the striker, not too well, but he can play left, he can play right, and he plays very well on the right foot. And he's ambitious, but with those stats and attributes, why wouldn't you be? He looks fantastic, and let's hope Calvin Miller lives up to his real life expectations in real life, unlike Islam Farouz, who left Celtic, went to his head, and now Chelsea appear to be loaning him out left, right and centre. So here is Mark O'Hara, the number 26 of Kilmarnock, who I believe has recently been involved in the first team. A value of 47k, 521 caps, £200 per week, a backup squad status for a professional team in the Scottish Premiership. Look at his attributes, some very good ones there. Marking 14 for a central defender at age 18 is good, passing 12, tackling 14. Some excellent mental attributes. Some decent-ish physical, but that natural fitness is worrying, granted. He plays as a limited defender. Now, I've experienced this guy when I think he was 16 on FM15 it would have been. He was very, very good. I remember signing him from a Newcastle side, and I believe I only sold him after a few seasons because there were more experienced, better first team players in my squad, and he was desperate for games after being signed for a small fee. But if you're going to use him and you're looking to build a young team or a Scottish team, or looking for a UK based team, which a lot of people do as sort of a challenge, if you like, young UK based players, this guy is worth a shot at the age of 18, and I'm sure you can get him very cheap. Now, he's fairly ambitious. He can play right back, defensive midfielder or centre midfielder if you need. A limited defender, ball playing defender with that passing attribute is very good. Very strong on his right foot, weak on his left. That is Mark O'Hara of Kilmarnock. Back in Edinburgh, at the Greenside, it's Hibernian, to one of my personal favourite young Scottish players, a promising striker, a key player at age 18, valued at a measly 50k. That's number 35 of Hibernian, Jason Cummins. And look at these attributes, guys. These are fantastic. Now, his physicals are excellent, his mentals are excellent, his off-ball is good, his finishing at 15 is very good. Now, his pace is 14, so you look to exploit that with his finishing, with his concentration, with his composure, and his anticipation and acceleration. He is an excellent player, a goal scorer, and I've seen it many times, people talking about him and how good he can become. There's a couple of people on the FM community on Twitter that have got him a few seasons in the Rangers save, I believe, and he is banging them in left, right and centre for them. Now, he's fantastic. I did have a Hibs save going for I think about 2-3 seasons myself, and he was fantastic. The main guy, the team built around him. Now he's a balanced personality, promising striker, advanced forward, poacher, defensive forward. You can play him as, but I played him as an advanced forward. He was fantastic, and he's very strong on his left foot, reasonable on his right, which tells you he can play with both feet. He is fantastic. That's Jason Cummins of Hibernian. How could we do a list of Scottish young talents without bringing you to the main man, to the mini Messi, from Dundee United, Ryan Gauld. Now you can play in various positions: right midfield, right, attacking midfield centre, left midfield, but naturally he plays as an attacking midfield on the left. Now I play him as an inside forward. I do have him on my current save with Sporting Lisbon, which is currently the end of season 2, and he's been incredible both seasons. On FM15, before he joined Sporting Lisbon, I signed him for Sporting Lisbon, and 8 seasons in I was turning down £35 million bids from Real Madrid. He can become absolutely fantastic. Now, age 18, £6,000 per week. Remember, guys, for me, Portugal is the diamond in the rough, the needle in the haystack, the place for me to go to if you want cheap players, young players, talented players, quality players for bargain prices. Honestly, guys, Portugal is the Lidls of the supermarkets. They are fantastic for getting young talents. Of course, a lot of agents own part of the player, but usually they don't charge too much. As you can see, Stevie King owns 20% of Ryan Gauld, so whatever you pay, you have to pay him an extra 20% for that part. But it doesn't usually cost much. For a world-class player like this, it doesn't matter. Now, of course, formerly of Dundee United, that's where he made his name. He is very quick to get his first Scottish cap on Football Manager. Now, if you look at his favourite personalities, John Suter, who we've been to, Andy Robertson, who we won't be going to, because we've done 10 players, like the same reason that White of Livingston isn't getting on my team, because he's 22, not under 21. Now, Gauld can play on the left foot and right foot, which is excellent for a player only age 18. Advanced playmaker, Rom Dieter, which I don't use very much, or inside forward, that he's been playing for me. He scores goals, he gets assists, he is incredible. As I say, well, we're not doing these in an order, but I did specifically leave Ryan Gauld till the end, because for me he's the best Scottish youngster on the game, followed by John Suter, and I created his brother Harry Suter as well. If you check out our database, you'll find him on there. But yes, guys, so we're going to different countries, picking 10 players, age under 21, that maybe you're looking to build a team around that country, or UK based, or something along the lines of that. I just want to show you my 10 favourite players age under 21 from each country. Now, I've done Scotland, naturally, that's my home place. I'm going to do England next, then I'll go to Ireland, possibly Northern Ireland. I don't even know if there'll be 10 players young under 21 that are really worthy of mentioning. Same with Wales, we'll look at them. Or I might just do England, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales as one. And then I can expand and I can go to my favourite Portugal, I can go to Italy, I can go to France, Brazil, Argentina, wherever. But I'm picking 10 players, age under 21, for you to check out and who I believe are the best from that country. Hopefully most or all of them playing in that country. Now, you've seen 10 here today. 9 of them were playing in Scotland. That was deliberate. 1, Ryan Gauld, I couldn't leave out not playing in Scotland. Thanks for checking it out. It's a new YouTube series I've got going. Hopefully I'll bring one to you every 4 or 5 days, something like that. Thanks for checking it out. The views have been fantastic on YouTube. 322 subs and nearly 30,000 views on my channel in around 7-8 months that I've been doing this. Thanks for checking out my stuff, guys. And make sure to give a sub and like our Facebook page, The Football Manager WizKids. Also check out us on Twitter at the FM WizKids, and check out my friends at footballmanagercentral.com for all your graphic needs, all your Football Manager needs. My Football Manager looks fancy with the backgrounds of players, the logos, etc. Get them from Football Manager. Get those guys to help you out. They do a great job, and they are Sports Interactive affiliated. Thanks for checking out this, guys. Back again soon.